Hi, my name is Dunia. I'm from Agent 99, from Rude Girl Review, and from Dunia and Aram, and you're watching Crash and Bleed.
So, discovering music, what was the first love for you? Was it like Ska Punk or was it reggae? Was it just like early first wave Ska?
Well, you mean playing ska in particular, or any
Just
music?
discovering music for that first time?
Because I was kind of born into music. My mom is a performer. My father is a trumpet player. My father was like actually on stage doing theater when I was born.
Mm.
So, and I come from a family of musicians. Like my great grandfather was a blues musician who actually had an interaction slash altercation with Huddy Ledbetter, also known as Lead Belly, who lived in the building that they lived in Manhattan. Um, there was a song about their neighbor Irene, who was best friends with my great grandmother, and my great grandfather wrote a song about it. He played it on a local New York radio station that did live music from local musicians. And a few years later, he heard his neighbor Huddy Ledbetter playing the self same song on a record. And he went and confronted Huddy Ledbetter and said, "Hey, that song about Irene, that's my song." They got into an altercation about it. And that's why Huddy Ledbetter went to jail at Rikers, is for stabbing my great grandfather.
Jesus. Okay.
So I'm kind of born into it.
Okay. I'm guessing you experienced punk rock at quite an early age. Did that sort of go off like an
Yeah,
explosion for you?
kind of, yeah. I mean, I kind of discovered it. I guess I was in fourth grade the first time I heard it. I was in the 80s in New York, so it was everywhere. And some of my classmates were living in the same building as Debbie Harry. So we heard a lot of Blondie and stuff like that. And then later on, I heard Fishbone, which basically sealed my whole deal because Fishbone is a miraculous band. And I heard the song Ma and Pa, and I never really heard music that was so expressive and descriptive and dudes that were so wild on screen and on stage. And I related to it. I mean, my mom listened to P Funk. So, like, I've seen dudes be weird on stage before, but like, not in that way.
So, what are some of the more iconic records for you? Have we got any ska, reggae, punk in there?
Well, definitely the first Fishbone EP with, God, I can't even think of a single song now. There's the one about Godzilla that I love, and that, of course, Lion Ass Bitch, that one. Um, also, let's see, iconic albums. I have to put Rufusized by Shaka Khan and Rufus. That is an amazing record. It is, I would say, proto pre punk because it is like a big band with a groovy, thing. It's before disco, before all that. And that was an iconic record for me growing up. Cut by the Slits is a big record for me. And I later, you know, I became a friend of Ariette before I became a super fan of the Slits, which is kind of funny. But I did listen to them a lot, and been a big influence with me. So
Yeah, I think you were involved in some kind of tribute show like a little later on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
Vivian Goldman and I and my husband Aram put together a tribute show for her after she died. And I'm terrible with years, but we tried to my husband and I wanted to put on a little show, like, where we just sing her songs and like remember her. And then Vivian called us and somebody was like, Vivian Goldman's trying to get in touch with you. And I said, Vivian Goldman is trying to get in touch with me? Okay. And so then she's like, no, it can't be a small show. It has to be huge. and she called everybody. And the Slits, many of them arrived from England, and Nana Cherry came. Holly Cook was there. Um, got a lot of my local buddies like Honeychild Coleman and Tamar Kali, from New York. Um, got to meet Palm Olive, which was amazing. like, um, we and Boy George sent a message. Viv Albertine sent a message. It was a big show that we did at the Music Hall of Williamsburg in Brooklyn, and it was important. It was important. Felice Rosser was there. Anna Ozawa. We just gathered as many family members as we could.
So did you grow up in New York? Were you
I
always like
did.
around the Lower East Side?
No, actually, I grew up in the Bronx, New York, which is a little further up. I mean, I was always in the Lower East Side visiting. Like, we just would walk around there. That's generational. My grandfather walked there. Like, my family has been in New York for at least 5 generations, and my son just moved to New York, so now he's on the Lower East Side. Yeah, it's ancestral homeland, New
Oh,
York.
okay. Okay. So do you think ska is quite big in New York, or was it quite big back then, like before the third wave really kicked off?
I mean, when I first heard ska and got into ska, it was 1992. And I guess that was probably the beginning of it starting to jump off again. But like, I played in the band The Slackers first, and then I started my band Agent 99. And we were not like, there were not a lot of us. We were able to play a lot of shows that were not all completely ska. Like, I got put on bills with um, the Velt, and with punk rock bands. We played a lot of oi shows, skinhead oi shows, and they just kind of lumped us all together. I think because there were so few of us.
Yeah.
I remember when Bouncing Souls came to New York the first time. That was an interesting experience because the West Coast was much more into the ska than the East Coast was. There was a lot more in California than there was. And, Moon Records was like the center of our world. The Toasters were the center, of the ska scene. And Stubborn Records, Skinnerbox was in the middle there because Jeff Baker had been in the Boilers.
Well, I always felt like on the West Coast, ska was very much like a summertime kind of. It's bouncy, it's happy, it's that kind of thing. When it comes from New York, it's very cold, very crispy, very dark. A lot of
Yeah,
like heroin addiction kind of stuff.
oh, well, it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
I mean, we were definitely around a lot of heroin addicts, like they were there. But there was also the look sharp as you can, like, as close to Zoot Suit, as close to like mod. We were very much into looking very sharp and very, very fancy in New York, initially at least.
So I always ask all my musical guests who they think was the most iconic punk rocker of all time.
The most iconic punk rocker of all time. Well, it depends on how you think about it.
It's
In my
about what's
mind,
iconic to you.
oh, I guess in my mind, it's Vivian Goldman, my dear friend, who has written about punk since it started. First female punk writer, you know, she's living punk right now, and she's in her 70s. So you
Oh,
gotta
okay.
gotta respect her.
Yeah. Do you have any pictures that you could send, like,
Vivian?
of you together, maybe?
Oh yeah, yeah. We just played a show actually with a tribute to the Slits at Lincoln Center. So there's a few shots from that. It was
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see. That'd be
Yeah, yeah.
perfect.
I can send that on.
All right, cool, cool. So yeah, at what point do you think you realized that maybe you wanted to be a singer or just join a band, or were you playing any instruments back in the early days?
Yeah, well, I started out on, well, my mother started me on percussion. I was always the cowbell because I could keep good time. I assume that's why, not because I sucked at everything else. But my mom is a big musical influence on me. She plays the flute, she plays the steel drums, she plays all kinds of percussion. So I started playing the flute in fourth grade. or fifth grade. I started playing baritone ukulele in fifth grade, which I still play, and guitar through high school, things like that. Um, my first, see, I always think of my first band as being the first band I started being Agent 99, but I actually in high school started an a cappella group where we played um, music from all around the world, and we sang a South African song. This is during apartheid, so we played a song called Ke Kosatu. It was about the Kosatu, which was the labor union that was fighting to to stop apartheid, and we got to play it for the kids who were in the Broadway show Sarafina, who were South African and spreading the word about South Africa and like apartheid and things like that. And that this Broadway show happened. They came to our school and we got to sing Keiko Satu, and they were like, "How did you know that song?" It was very cool, very very cool.
It just makes me think of Lisa Simpson's bedroom in the 90s. She had a poster on the door, "End Apartheid Now."
Oh yeah, yeah, we all had that
Yeah.
in the 80s. I had a 5x5 Keith Haring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the Slackers, yeah, I recently just found this out, like learning about you, just trying to dig up all this information. Really hard to find stuff about you, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Oh
If you're
yeah, no,
keeping a
I
low
didn't.
profile but yeah, the
I'm
Slackers,
not
like,
trying to.
how did that happen? Did you join like the Slackers in the early days before
Oh
they
yeah.
recorded anything?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, actually, so Vic and I were at NYU together in NYU freshman orientation first year. So we met then and just became friends. And he was like a year or so later, like selling books with his good friend Happy, who he has a band Sick and Mad with. And he said, "Come see my band." And I went and saw the band, and it was really good. And I just started hanging around. He and Lewis, the drummer, were, very tight. They were kind of teaching me what it all was. And then one day we were walking around the city just playing. It was just a day. We just walk around playing music. And I started singing harmony. And Marcus said, "She's got to be in the band." I always blame it on Marcus, so he'll feel weird about it.
So were you on
But
any of the recordings? Like
I
any
was on
demo
very early
recordings?
recordings. Yeah, we were like the first ones. The thing that's called the nods, I think I'm on that.
Oh, okay.
With some video and stuff. I could send you some video of that. Me playing with them.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that on your YouTube as well, like a
Yeah,
Slackers
yeah.
Agent 99 kind of live
Yeah, I
performance.
mean, but even before that,
Yeah,
I was like actually in the band.
yeah, that's incredible. Just learning that, no idea about it. But yeah, starting Agent 99, this is 92, 93 that we're going back to.
Yeah, I guess 93. Yeah, 92 is when I started being a solo open mic girl. And then 93 I met Jay.
Yeah.
And my question it was somebody was like, "Yeah, Jay plays guitar." I was like, "Oh, so you play guitar?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Are you good?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's. I have a band that I need to start.
Mm.
Do you
But
know what ska is?"
as the story goes, I think he wasn't very good at playing Ska, was he, in those early
I mean,
days?
we were all just starting out with it. I mean, there's no way for us to really know what was going on. We put on our Fishbone records and our Clash records and did our best.
Yeah.
And and I had a bunch of songs. I had like 5 or 6 songs already written, so he learned those, and then we wrote a couple more, and then we found Alec, the bass player, who was playing for No Commercial Value at the time, with Scott, with who is known now as Stizza somehow. Um,
I think it's like a Wu-Tang reference, isn't it? They
yeah, no, for
shortened
sure,
the,
for sure. I
yeah.
mean, everything we ever did was a parody of something else. I mean, Leftover Crack is after a band called Leftover Salmon that we all, kind of made fun of because
Really?
Leftover Salmon's such a crazy name.
I didn't know that either.
Oh yeah, yeah. We all used to hang out at a place called Wetlands in New York, and they had bands of every stripe. Like you could see a complete different scene every night. It was like really a fantastic venue, and it got destroyed because somebody wanted to build a condo. Come after the hippies. They were, they were, Wetlands Preserve was part music venue, part like environmental preservation venue.
Yeah.
So we thank the hippies for having punk shows.
But okay, so who would you say was the biggest influence on that Agent 99 sound?
Oh, that was probably the Selector. I mean, like I was doing a hardcore Selector impression at the time. They were definitely when I heard on my radio, when I heard like all of it. I'm just like a huge Selector fan. Also, of course, Specials and Special AKA, especially because Special AKA was a little bit more political, and um, Rhoda Dakar contributed to that, and such a vital voice, Rhoda Dakar. And yeah, Pauline Black and Rhoda Dakar are really probably my biggest influences, but also who influenced the band is the Minutemen, because Ara and Alec were both into the Minutemen, and they did a lot of that like fast rhythmic stuff, mixed in with our thing.
Did those guys bring in that sort of hardcore element, do you think?
Oh
Because, like,
yeah,
I think it's on the song Rude Riding Hood that has that hardcore verse in it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
that's a
that was
great
all of
one.
us. I mean, we tell like when the ska, there was no ska scene. There was like a music scene, and we would play shows. It would be ska, punk, hardcore, oi, like in one show, and it was very natural and flowed very easily. Like that's just what So ska bands were playing hardcore all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And I was listening to the CD, the Agent 99 collection, and 93
Yeah.
to 95. Every time I hear that song, You Already Know,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's Kingston on my mind. It just
Yeah.
reminds me of early first wave ska. So were you listening to a lot of that, like early
Yeah.
Jamaican ska?
Oh, of course. I mean, Scatolites were just like regaining their momentum in New York at that time. So, yeah, we got to see some Scatolites and, original Scatolites. Lloyd Nibbs, Lloyd Brevet, Roland Alfonso, Tommy McCook. We got to really see them play. Um, and yeah, we would listen to the radio. We also listened to a lot of like Charles Mingus and John Coltrane and, you know, Charlie Yardbird or Rooney. You know,
Mm.
all that early jazz, early ska, deeply influential. Yeah.
Yeah. So was there ever a demo recording? Or was the first record, like that first 7-inch, do you call that the demo, or is there a demo that might not have
No,
heard?
there's a tape that came out through Moon Records. We put out a tape of 6 songs, and that was our first. Yeah, that was our first recording that we put out. It had a cover like this. Hold on, I actually have a sticker my friend sent me.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cute?
That is actually on the cassette, I think I looked.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the original thing that we made. We went. Which one was that? That was at so the guy Chris ran it. It was called Tin Pan Alley Studios, and that was the same studio that the Beastie Boys recorded that Sabotage record. We used to rehearse there.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
had
yeah, that dude gave us a good rate.
I had someone on the podcast who worked with the Beastie Boys, I think, on the Sabotage music video.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. I didn't know about
Yeah,
it. He just blurted that out at me. I'm like, okay, holy shit, you know.
yeah, yeah. So that record was originally called Chris Rock, and Chris got real mad that they changed the name because they made the hardcore thing recording there at Japan Alley, and then they brought that to another studio and put the Sabotage lyrics over it.
Yeah. So, did you have the no commercial value demo at that time?
I I didn't I they nobody we didn't have it was expensive to make demos then. We used 2-inch tape. We used a real studio with like wires and mics and stuff like that. It was much more expensive to make a record then. So like it was not like we couldn't drop demos out of the sky. We had to play a lot of shows first, a lot of t-shirts, you know. We had to like really make our money before we could make any demos. So we saved up, we scripted, saved, and I didn't pay some rent and made our record. No Commercial Value didn't make a demo till after we made our record.
Really? I
And
thought maybe
yeah,
it was
yeah.
90, 91, 92, their demo.
I don't even know. Maybe Scott did. I don't remember. Maybe it was 92. I mean, we started recording in 92.
Oh, okay.
92 or 93. I literally can't remember these things because I was 20 in the studio for sure. So that had to be 92. I was 19 when it started. So that's 91. Yeah, I think maybe around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was Alec like back then? Could you see like he
Alec
was a
was
creative genius or?
um he was definitely really smart. I mean, he was so young. Like he's much younger than I am. I mean, for those years, he was still in high school. And he was very straight edge when I met him. He only drank coffee and smoked cigarettes. He was one of those kids. He had gone through some stuff. And yeah, he was still in high school. So he was a kid. He was wonderful. I mean, he could really play the shit out of that bass. He came up with he brought us the Sweet Dreams arrangement. And that's when I knew I had to hire him. Like it was like we were in my apartment on 77th Street and practicing, me and Jay and Alec, I think. Yeah, me and Jay and Alec. And we just kind of he learned the songs and he was like, listen to this. And he started doom doo 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 doom doom doo 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 doom doo doo doom doo doom doom. And I was like, okay, we're doing that. Like it was definitely, yeah,
Yeah. Has about
it
Aura,
was
a
very cool.
couple of words on him. Was he already a machine at the drums at that time?
Ara was the hardest hitting drummer I'd ever met in my life. Is Jay actually introduced me to Ara because they had friends in common. Ara was rooming on 13th Street with these guys, and what's really funny is that all of me and Ara and Jay all went to NYU, but they were a year behind me, so I like didn't get to meet them that way. But we were all at NYU, and Ara had some roommates who were also at NYU. And Jay was like, "Yeah, I know this guy Ara, but he's really good. Maybe he'll play with us, maybe he won't. But he's really good." And I was like, "Wow, okay." So I played the songs for Ara, and he liked them. And he really liked Alec. I mean, I think Alec was the biggest draw, but no, we were really into. All of us were really into making this thing. We all felt it. Ara is just really like smart and bookish and I don't know, just like he was very good friend, very solid person.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that early recording process for that tape. Like, just being in the studio for the first time as a band.
Well,
Do you remember how much that cost? Was it like $100 for like an hour in the
no,
studio or?
it was oh God, he really gave us a good rate. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, maybe it was like $100 for an hour in the studio, but he gave us a good rate because we went and bought the 2-inch tape. 2-inch tape was not cheap. Alec handled all the money. I kind of left that to him because I was like, not gonna fuck that up. So yeah, we had to get 2-inch tape. We recorded on the big reel to reel, the flat reel to reel machines, the big beigey ones. And when you make a mistake, that's another take, that's another set of tapes. So you have to rehearse everything very thoroughly. Make sure you've got your sound completely down before you put it down on the tape because the tape is so expensive.
Were
You
those
know.
all the songs that you had, or was there anything that didn't get recorded?
Well, in the first recording, No, in the first recording, we didn't record everything we had because we were playing longer sets than that. So we had to choose the ones we thought would sell the best, basically. So we did those, to get a grip words. Um, what else is on there? You already know is a collaboration with me and Jay. Kingston on My Mind was Jay's first song that he wrote. Um, Little Pieces I wrote because I was walking down the street and I saw a dude getting beat up, and it just hit me. Uh, that was actually Walk, and yeah. And then Looking Glass, not Looking Glass, what is it called? Looking Glass is a Brave New Girl song, which is also good. But what is it called? Little Pieces, yeah. Little
Yeah.
Pieces is I really like that. Just came to me one day sitting. I was working at Shakespeare and Company bookstore at the time, and we had to do a stint at Bag Check, and that's where I did a lot of songwriting.
Do you remember who was like the most particular, like in the recording session? Anyone trying to get their parts in, like super specific? Anyone specific about equipment? Anything like that?
Uh, Ara and Alec were more specific about their equipment than Jay and I were, just because they had had more experience with that, basically. Um, you know, Alec was very particular about his sound, through the recording. And yeah, Ara was pretty particular. I mean, I used to help Ara set up drums because I knew how to, and I knew that would make things faster. So I knew kind of how he wanted them a little bit.
Yeah. So are you recording and mixing all in one day? Is that in the studio time?
No, you couldn't do that. It took at least a week to record the 6 songs. We would try to get 2 in per day, with all the setup and getting the sound right, getting the take right, you know. So we'd rehearse it a bunch of times and then record it, make sure we got it right, type of a thing.
No click track back then?
No click track.
Oh, okay.
No, no, no. And I'm really particular about drummers, partially because I had Ara there and he was very good. And also my brother Ahmed is an amazing drummer. So like we definitely I'm a drummer, like very particular about drummers.
Yeah.
And so click track not necessary because I had the best.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so when this is done, are you passing it around to record labels? Was there any notable labels you sent it to?
I think we may have done DIY until we found Bucket, until Bucket took it for Moon. I really think we didn't look at too many places. We did once get an offer from TVT Records, but that was well after that first demo.
So who were you playing with at this time? Like, what are the shows like? Were you playing with no
Um,
commercial value at any point?
yeah, we played a couple shows with them, but Scott was really mad because I took Alec. I mean, I didn't take Alec, but Alec, decided to play with us, and Scott got annoyed by that, I think. So we didn't play a whole lot of shows with no commercial value, even though I loved them. Olivia was like a really wonderful singer for them. They were just really great. We played with Song of Seven, which was a punk band that featured Tamar Kali, who, if you know the Afro punk movie,
I've seen
she's
it a
like,
long time ago when it first came out.
yeah, yeah, she's the face. She's that big open mouth.
Yeah, yeah,
Tamar.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was in Song of Seven. We used to play with Inspector Seven, which was I don't know if you know Hub City Stompers.
No?
Oh yeah, they're from New Jersey. They're fantastic. How do you not know Hub? Anyway, they're amazing. They're like a ska oi band. But Travis is in Hub City Stompers, and his first band was Inspector Seven, which is still around, but not with Travis. They have a different. This guy Giuseppe is the leader of Inspector Seven. We used to play with Skinner Box, which is Jeff Baker's band at the time. Um, we played with the Slackers. Uh, we played with There were a bunch of women fronted bands and women oriented bands in the Lower East Side at the time that were very theatrical. So some of them were like, they would do actual shows like on stage, or like there was one band that would have a dude on all fours and they'd have him on a leash and like beating him and stuff. And yeah, we played all kinds of shows. Lower East Side was a real bonanza of of art and culture. So we played all kinds of things back then.
Would you have considered yourself a part of that squat punk community at that time?
Yeah, we definitely played at C Squat, and I definitely hung out in some of the squats, here and there. I had an apartment, but I would hang out in Tompkins Square with those guys because they were just very, very nice. They were like really sweet, wonderful people with these beautiful, like a lot of them had dogs, so like it's just a very like welcoming culture, a lot of it, and I would hang out with them. It was really nice.
I'm wondering if you ever got into that band Nausea.
No, I never heard them. I know who they are, basically. I've met them, but I don't think I've ever listened to them, which is terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
I try to
if
listen to
like
everybody, but there are
if
bands that are like 50 years old that I'm just discovering. So,
oh well, fair enough. It's just that I always thought there wasn't too many female-fronted ska bands out there. So
yeah.
Nausea was like a blackened metal crust punk band, but they had like this ska outro, this long 2 minute ska
Oh, no
outro
kidding.
with the female vocalist, and I thought that was the only one for like the longest time. I was like, how rare was it back then to have like female fronted ska punk?
Yeah, it was pretty like, well, ska punk wasn't even a thing when I started. Really, I mean, like it was just becoming a thing, you know. And like I really only knew about Fishbone, honestly. And so I knew about all the two tone stuff, but I really, as far as ska punk was concerned, really only knew Fishbone. So me and my friend Gail were trying to be like female Fishbone. I mean, it didn't quite happen that way,
No.
but we tried.
Okay, so out of all of these like early punk rockers that you used to hang out with, like in the early '90s, like have you kept in touch with many of these people?
I've gotten back in touch with them more than kept in touch. It was just really hard to do that before the advent of like the internet and cell phones. So, you know, if you turn the corner the wrong way, you miss everybody.
Mm,
And that's pretty much I like kind of like I turned one corner and everybody else turned a different corner, and I kind of lost touch with some people.
mm. Do you feel that the band was kind of unnoticed for the most part because not a lot of people know about Agent 99? Sometimes you
Yeah,
have to explain it to them. Oh, Alec from Choking Victim was in this
yeah,
band, and then they go, "Oh, okay, now I'll check it out."
yeah. So, yeah, Agent 99 was like it was the kind of thing where we kind of got big-ish. But honestly, I really think there was a race and sex barrier to our success, you know.
Were you looking at the Lunatics back then as kind of like
Yeah,
people that were
definitely.
kicking the doors
L7,
open
the
a little bit?
Lunatics. Yeah, yeah. Actually, we played something called the Fierce Pussy Fest, which was Kathleen Hanna. Like she put together this big festival in Tompkins Square, and we played that. And Annie Sprinkle was there. It was like a huge thing. And then that next day, she tried to bring us into Riot Girl, but kind of like, I was like, but if you're following something, is that totally punk rock? Like, once you call yourself punk, are you really punk anymore? Like I thought punk is about eschewing the labels, and I feel like this is more of like, I didn't understand it as a thing that could be beneficial. I just kind of saw it as like organizing people who didn't want to be organized, and I thought it was weird. And then I came to find that a bunch of people I knew who were punks in the Lower East Side also did not want to join Riot Girl. And I feel like maybe like we just had trouble understanding what it is that she was trying to do. You know what I mean? We like didn't. We're like, fuck organization,
Mm.
But it's interesting.
Was there much trouble from the police at that time? I know they used to shut the shows down in like the 80s, but were you getting
Yeah, no,
hassled
no,
back then?
no, not the early '90s was a little bit more fluid. I think they hadn't pulled their thing all together to take us all down yet. Again. My husband was there at the big riot in the '80s, and he definitely got beat down from the police and others. But I was able to kind of escape all that. I mean, most of the trouble was from like different factions. Like sometimes there was a skinhead thing or like a you
Nazi
know
punks, they were around
yeah,
at that
Nazi
time, I
punks
think.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Although less so. I mean, they Nazi punks really got the shit kicked out of them. So we they were able to avoid our particular things, especially like when we were having one of those like 10 band shows where everybody's from every scene. We were much more about unifying our various scenes than having any Nazis or fighting anything like that.
Yeah. So, can you remember how much that first tape sold? Were you guys like happy with the results?
God, I think it did all right. I mean, it helped us get other stuff happening. It helped us buy shirts. I personally like did not pay any attention to numbers back then. Like I really didn't even I wasn't even considering myself in the music business at that point. I was just playing shows, you know what I mean? And I think if we had had a manager or something like that to kind of explain it to me, that would have been a different story, but it was just us. And Alec knew how to handle gigging and booking gigs and getting guarantees and things like that. Jay had a car, you know what I mean? Like we really were DIY in the most possible way.
Yeah. I think that first tape came out on a 7-inch, didn't it? A little bit later, maybe.
Well, it's on the CD. This is the only 7-inch that I know about. I have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is that the biggest boys 7-inch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
about Alec.
Is it really?
Yeah, so we used to call him the biggest boy. He's like, I'm a big boy. And we're like, you're the biggest boy. So,
Okay.
Alec.
So was that the same kind of process as the early recording, or did you have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more money, a little bit more time?
No, we were still doing it on the cheap.com. What did we do on this one? This was the punk one. So we did this with this guy, Pat, who he worked in a studio and we did it after hours at his studio. That's how we would do mostly. We would always do after hours, so we were never paying full price. So we just paid him for his time, and it was a little more loose than the first recording, for sure.
Okay.
Uh, but we wanted it that way. We wanted it more punk. We wanted it more raw, you know. So I think that came out that way very well. We put like sound effects on there. We were like, just fuck it, let's do whatever.
Was
It
there
was
a
fun.
specific record that came out that you maybe were trying to emulate that sound, or just your
Not
own
at
thing?
all. We were just us. We were just in our own juices at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I could tell, we wanted to recreate the feeling that came from being in the pit, basically, because
Yeah.
mosh pits were not these circular things that they make now. They were, people got kicked in the head. I got kicked in the head at Murphy's Law show. Like it was fun, you know. You get, it feels powerful.
Yeah. I wonder if you ever went to see the Lunatics live.
I saw them. There was a festival that would happen at BAM every year. There was like a couple of the college music festivals, CMJ festivals, that kind of thing. I would see them play at different shows like
Yeah.
that.
one of my favorite bands of all time, the Lunatics. Might be
Yeah, they're
getting Gina
fantastic.
on the podcast very
Oh, that would
soon.
be cool.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it
Yeah,
happens. But
yeah.
would you consider that Biggest Boy 7-inch to be the first and last official release?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, no, because we did a three-song recording after that with my brother Ahmed, and we recorded "Murder for Rent." We recorded, oh man, "Murder for Rent," because we did two versions of "Murder for Rent." The first one is the one that's on this guy, and then we did a record exec mix that's on that CD. Um, we also did. Doing what's right for others is not always good for you. What is true? What is that song? Look at You Now. That's called.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
called Look
okay.
at You Now. And yeah, Ahmed helped us come up with that uh, ending, which was very cool. Um, and we did one other tune, which you have the CD. You probably see it.
We got a lot of stuff on here. I think there's a couple of
Yeah.
things missing though, because in 1994 you guys
Yeah.
played a song called Little Green Bag live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was the cover.
Oh, okay. See, I was wondering why that didn't make it onto this collection.
Yeah, we didn't want to get in any copyright trouble.
Okay. There was another one as well. I've written it down somewhere. Hold on.
That
Uh,
yeah. Little Green Bag was Jay's idea. I'm gonna give that to Jay. It was like a really good idea.
See, I just discovered that like the other night, and I was like, why was that not on this? Like, that's a pretty
Yeah,
good
it's
sounding
really good,
song.
right?
Yeah, and the other one, I have not made a note of it, but there's another one that's on YouTube floating around. I'm guessing that's a cover as well. But
Oh shoot.
but this is every single track officially recorded. There's nothing missing off here.
Yeah, yeah, because there's stuff we didn't record. There was a song called Sick House that I wish I had a recording of. Uh which was like me making fun of all those like frat boy ska bands because I was I was like, "Oh, really?" And I'd be like, "It's a party, yeah, a party. Everybody grab a drink." I was like really like I was very obnoxious about it.
Are we throwing Sublime in there? Do we like Sublime?
They're all right. They were nice people,
Yeah. So
you
I
know.
was noticing. Um, I suppose I should probably ask this question first, though. So, what was the reason for the band to come to an end? Was it like an agreed thing that you guys would just go separate
No,
ways, or?
nope. Alec had some problems. Some instruments ended up missing from our rehearsal space. Uh, you know, and we had he basically kind of vanished. He basically kind of vanished. And I tried to hire another bass player who turns out to be my current bass player and husband. But I wasn't trying to go out with him at the time. I was just trying to hire a bass player. Um, but yeah, so Ara didn't really want to play without Alec, and I kept trying to keep it going, and it just wasn't going.
Yeah.
And Alec basically slept through the last gig we had, so that was upsetting.
Yeah. Do you think that was because he was thinking about like joining Choking Victim at that time? Because
Oh
I
no,
think no.
no, it was because of personal like you know difficulties.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It was very very hard.
So that might explain why when you put this collection together, there's no notes from Alec in that booklet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He had a lot of problems that were you know you try to help and then it's just hard to help.
Did you have to cut Alec out at some point, or did you reconnect a little bit later, like before he died, or?
Yeah, I saw him in oh gosh, I went to a Slackers show at Irving Plaza and he was there. It was really wonderful to see him. I was really missing him. So I was hoping we would, I was like, hey, what about an Agent 99 show? And everybody was like, $10,000. I was like, all right, I'm gonna work on that. I'm not kidding. Like, I will definitely try to find $10,000 for us to play. And and then Alec died, which is kind of whack.
So there could really have been a reunion.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been fun? I don't know. Still might be able to do it. We just gotta get the right combination.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
I
That's a
noticed.
question for Aura.
Yeah. Oh, maybe you can hook me up with Aura.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe, maybe. Um. So yeah, I noticed on your YouTube channel that you brought one of the songs back. You played it
Oh
acoustic,
yeah.
or was that like a ukulele? I think it was.
Yeah, that's my uke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Which one? Get a grip?
yeah. So was that on your mind at that time, like in 2020? It's like, okay, maybe this should come back, or
Yeah. What happened was really part of what happened is, you know, my husband and I moved to Washington D.C. And I decided when we moved down here that I was going to focus more on my music stuff. So I was writing some stuff, and then I realized that I had written all these songs already that people actually like, and so I started playing them again. And then I got a call from Kristen and Jenny of Rude Girl Review, and they said we want to start an all-female um, uh, superstar all-star band, and we want you to be in it. And I was like, what? And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that you know anybody was listening to this stuff. Like that's the kind of thing. And they were like, no, no, definitely. And so I just started playing that stuff for me. I'd also revived Murder for Rent. Oh, that's the other song we did on the that Ahmed did, is Murder for Rent.
oh, okay.
Um, uh, I I did revive Murder for Rent for my band Dubistry.
So after Agent 99 breaks up, are you immediately jumping into bands here, or are you taking a little
Yeah.
bit of a relax?
Well, yeah, Agent 99 died, and then I realized that I was kind of losing my mind a little bit. My husband and I were both losing our minds. We're like, what is going on? Why are we losing our minds? Then we realized that we hadn't played out in like 6 months. So we started to create a new band, and that's when we met Todd Nocera, who's a keyboard player, and we started a band called Brave New Girl. And I wanted to take it from the kind of like the post-punk, post-ska bands like General Public and things like that, and and Lisa Stansfield, and it's very English focused actually. My musical taste, Sade, things like that, and I wanted to do something that sprung off of that kind of music, and so we started calling it neo soul. What we were doing, and it was really much more that kind of soul, like that kind of like not a rehashing of old stuff, but actually making a new style of soul. And then like Erica Badu and the Roots came out and they called their stuff neo soul, and it was much more like a bring back to the 70s. So we're like, oh right, well, we're not doing that, so I guess we can't call our stuff neo soul, you know. But we did play like a soul based music that, like, if you listen to it now, it kind of still holds up. It's very much like it's kind of like post police, grooves, it's that kind of like it draws from all of that, but it has a different kind of a sound than the than like Ohio Players and things like that. You know.
This is in like 95, 96 when
Yeah,
this is happening.
exactly.
So how
Yeah.
did you feel when you heard the Choking Victim, Squatter's Paradise, or the early 7-inch that came out? Were you like,
Yeah,
holy
it's pretty
shit?
good. No, I thought it was pretty good. And the thing is, I always liked Scott, and I always liked Alec, and I continue, like, I always continue to try to, listen to and support them and stuff like that because they're good. I didn't know about Scott acting weird and stuff. I heard things from other people, but he was like, I don't know, he was not like that with me when I knew him. I mean, he was a little obnoxious, but I just figured he's kind of a little obnoxious.
So, are you believing what people say about Scott?
I don't know what to think. I know he's got like a lot of stuff going on, and I know that I mean I don't understand exactly what's going on. People are saying that he's saying a lot of crazy stuff and doing a lot of crazy stuff. I mean he's a wild child for sure. So I don't know how that translates once we get into our late 40s, early 50s.
Mm.
you know.
Well, when I had him on the podcast, he was very much like very sober. He's like trying to live a sober lifestyle. I think he
Good.
was just kind of a fuck up. He just
Yeah.
did fuck up things,
Yeah.
and it went public, and that's a little bit stupid, I guess. But
Yeah. He's just a really good songwriter and a really good player. So like, I keep I try to keep track of what he's making because he always makes cool stuff.
yeah.
But
Where
yeah.
did Aura end up after the band broke up? I think he joined a few notable bands after that before
Yeah,
Leftover
he was
Crack, I
in
think.
Trick Baby or Trick Babies. I actually don't know what Ara did that much because I was really mad. I kept track a little bit tangentially. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I mean, I knew he was working in this cool bookstore. I knew he was playing with Trick Baby. I knew he was playing with Alec and Leftover Crack a bit, and uh, and I knew when he joined the Slackers, and that's. But I don't know what happened before that.
And Jay, where did Jay end up?
Jay was playing with Stubborn All Stars. He's playing a lot with Jeff Baker. I think that's a lot of what he was doing was playing with Jeff Baker. And he started his own band, Crazy Bald Head, and he had the Ray Gaylords. That was funny, pretty good. And had their costumes. That was pretty good. And then he joined the Slackers.
Yeah.
So. And I keep telling Vic, like, yeah, you wouldn't have. I was like, you're welcome.
Do you feel that Agent 99 ever gets praise from the Slackers like now in the modern day? Do they ever? Do you
Oh
think they
yeah,
ever
now
live?
they do.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. Especially from Jay. Jay basically credits me for getting him into the game,
Yeah.
which he got himself into the game, honestly. But we did have the band, and that was our little ass kicking for ourselves. And I did introduce everybody to Vic, and Vic started the Slackers, so there's that.
So, were there many other music projects for you in the 90s?
I actually did Brave New Girl all through the '90s. Actually, that second half of the '90s is all Brave New Girl. And I also did some off Broadway shows, as a musician. Um, and then we moved to LA, and in Los Angeles, we started the band Dubistry with Matt Urbania, who is an incredible guitarist. He could do like live dub effects and stuff like that. So we did Dubistry. I played a little bit with Aria. We were actually, Brave New Girl was Ariep's backing band for a few gigs, which was really fun. Um, yeah, that those two bands were the main ones, Brave New Girl and Dubistry.
So when I looked you up on Discogs, because like I was looking at all the record information, when I click on you, it's
Yeah,
impossible to find all your other bands. So like I really didn't know where you ended up.
yeah, yeah. I was because I am like not self-aggrandizing enough.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. I wish I was like one of these egomaniacs. It's like I'm the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world. Like there are people who exist in that way, and I'm definitely not one of them. So like I never put my name on a thing. Like Dubistry is Dubistry. Like it's about everybody. It's about them. Agent 99 is Agent 99. It's about the whole band. And Brave New Girl was about the whole band. Like everybody, like I know I have the voice, whatever part of it, but the voice part is nothing without the rest of it, really. Like who cares, you know?
Mm.
So I always and I was in band in high school. I'm just used to being a part of the whole and not being like pushing myself forward. I'm not really that guy. I was doing Brave New Girl, but I really wasn't doing a lot of I wasn't directing Brave New Girl. I thought maybe I was just too harsh on Agent 99, and that's like why it broke up. I was very particular. I really wanted us to be like really good, you know what I mean? And so if it wasn't the way I thought it should sound, I would get really angry. Not angry, angry, but like I was just like, oh, this isn't sounding the way I want it to sound. It isn't doing the thing I think it should be doing.
Yeah. Are you happy with
But
it though, looking back after all
oh
these
yeah, I
years?
mean, Agent 99 is an incredible band. We kicked so much ass. Like when I listen to it now, like one of my Rude Girl Reviews sisters was listening to it and she was like, "Man, that when I think of female fronted ska punk, that's what it sounds like." And I'm like, "That's huge. Thank you. That's huge."
Are you noticing there's many female-fronted ska bands now coming up nowadays?
Yeah, there's a lot more now. My God, it's crazy land. We got Half Past Two and Catbite and Lady Hatchet Quartet, which used to be the Scotch Bonnets. Well, it didn't used to be the Scotch Bonnets, but Lady Hatchet ran the Scotch Bonnets, and then she ran Lady Hatchet Quartet. Um, I mean, Hub City Stompers is half female led with Jenny Whiskey. There's the Skluts and 13 Towers. They're fabulous. I'm just naming my friends' bands now.
Let me see if
They're
I
all
have
great.
any. I want to see if I
Yeah.
have any female-fronted ska bands.
There's Calamatics.
Dancehall
Holly.
Crashers, I've got those.
Oh yeah, of course. Dance hall crashes.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
yeah, they're coming back now.
Yeah, are you excited about that? Have you seen any like live footage of them?
Yeah, yeah, they're doing very well.
Yeah.
And of course, Save Ferris, they're coming back now too.
I had Karina from Dancehall Crashers on the podcast as
Ah,
well.
cool.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
on.
yeah. I think that's all I have though.
Yeah, there's a lot out there these days. I mean, it's really like there's a little renaissance happening, and I think it's partially Rude Girl Review started it because we did the Supernova Festival in 2021, and nobody had ever seen anything like it. 11 women, like most of whom lead their own bands on stage together, just like kicking it, you know?
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Alright.
I know there's a bunch of other bands I'm not even thinking of. Five Iron Frenzy, and uh, yeah, there's a bunch of bands. If I
The
can't even
the
make a list.
interrupters that just popped in my head.
Oh yeah, Interrupters, they're out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Let me see.
Skints,
The Skints from the UK.
yeah.
Damn,
Daka
I remember
Skanks.
them.
Yeah, they're happening. Daka Skanks is happening.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of cool bands in France and Germany that I've seen. There's the Drops in Japan. A couple of other bands in Japan.
Okay. So now when I'm editing, I'm gonna be checking out all these bands that you're naming that I don't know.
Yeah, they're really great. There's just so much greatness. It's really it's very exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so what were you doing in the 2000s then? Were you still like jumping into music projects or?
Oh yeah, all the time. So we moved to LA, and Dubistry was my main gig in LA, my main music project, and that actually combined ska reggae and dub and drum and bass because I was really into drum and bass. And I was like, man, if you could do live drum and bass, that would be the thing. And so that's what I really wanted Dubistry was to be, live drum and bass. And my brother was there in LA because he's acting. And he was my drummer during that time. Like basically right before episode 1 came out, he was playing drums for me, which is really cool.
Okay, so would we have seen your brother in many films like mainstream movies?
Mostly Star Wars.
Yeah. Was it just the one or two movies that he was in?
No, no. My brother played Jar Jar Binks.
Really?
Yeah, my brother who engineered three of the songs on the CD and was my initial drummer before I found Ara is a Jedi.
Holy crap. The entire time, it's him.
Yeah,
No
that's my
stunt
little
double,
brother.
nothing.
That's my little brother.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
Yeah, my brother's Jar Jar Binks, and then in the Mandalorian TV show, he plays Kelleran Beck, which is a Jedi, and he saves the little Baby Yoda character.
Okay. See, I'm the sucker that like unboxed all of the Star Wars action figures, like, and I
Yeah,
regret that now.
yeah. My brother's got. I think he has at least three action figures, official action figures now. But there was all that Jar Jar Binks paraphernalia. My
Uh,
parents have the pinball game. You know.
all right, so just before we wrap up, then let's talk about the recent music projects that you've been involved with.
Yeah, a lot, a lot. I did a few songs for Smoke and Mirror Sound System. They're in San Diego. They're really wonderful. Of course, I did have Root Girl Review. Da 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 da. That's Root Girl Review. And then I have the Dunia and Aram project. This is my husband and me.
Oh, okay.
We have liner notes by Vivian Goldman, the great. Um, what else? I've done a couple of appearances with a couple of people. I play with Ego and the Appropriators, which is a band in New Jersey. Um, you know, yeah, I'm actually trying to do a solo project right now. I'm writing for a solo project. So hopefully that gets picked up by somebody, because I don't think I can afford to put that out on my own. So if anybody's listening, I would love a little assistance with that. The Dunia Best project. Um, but Dunia and Aram, we're hoping to go to Germany, go to Europe in the spring, and I play a lot with Lady Hatchet. We do like a sound clash, Lady Hatchet music with Dunia's music and Dunia and Aram music, and we like trade back and forth playing each other's music. Play a little bit with Eastern Standard Time. You know.
Not that I want to end on a downer, but like, how did you feel when you heard that Alec had died? Did you make the funeral or?
No, no, I don't think his father did a funeral. I mean, I don't. I think maybe they did something small, but I was really bummed because I felt like he was about to be on a creative upswing, and you know how you could just feel that from people, and you know, people have their trajectories and their issues and problems, and sometimes that claims a life.
Mm,
It just sucks, drugs are bad, in large quantities.
yeah. So, if there were to be an Agent 99 reunion show, is it safe to say your husband's playing bass?
I mean, that would be cool, but it's not entirely up to me. So, well, you have to see what's going on. The Supernova Ska Festival is happening in September, and I'm the president of the Supernova Alliance. So, and so we help fund it, and I'm hosting that festival
Okay.
and playing with Root Girl Review. So that's all very fun and cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to watch the Rockers movie on the beach, and you know, it's a pretty big festival here. It's like very nice, very very comfortable. The same people come back every year, and uh, they have a lot of ownership over it. So
Mm,
they really want it to be a nice place for people to to play nicely together. It's very cool. So this year we have Voodoo Glow Skulls, we've got Alpheus, we've got we were going to have a Rockers reunion, but the visas didn't make it through, so we're having a partial Rockers reunion. Errol Dunkley is going to be there, a couple of others. We're having a couple of amazing Mexican bands, ska bands. Um, I can't remember everybody right now because it's like 3 days of bands.
Well, let me just ask you about
Calamatics are going to be there for sure.
let me just ask you about some of these legacy ska punk bands then. Like, we've got, like, Less Than Jake, we've got Rancid, like, the Suicide Machines, they're still playing. Like, do we have any, like, a top three of these legacy ska
Of the
punk
newer
bands?
bands, I don't have a top three, unfortunately. I know Less Than Jake is playing the Supernova Festival. I mean, it's mostly because, well, I do like Catbite quite a lot.
Mm,
Catbite's very good. And I do like Half Past Two a lot. Like they're those two are definitely among my favorites.
yeah.
Um, Out of Control Army is great. Out of Control Army is coming to Supernova too. I really like Out of Control Army. I really like oh man, what are they called? Inspector. Oh my God. They played last year at Supernova and they blew my mind. I really like them a lot.
Mm.
They were like loud in all the right ways and their arrangements were very tight. I really like them a lot. Inspector.
So you'd say the future's looking bright for ska?
Yeah, especially around the world. Like I would say Japan and Mexico is doing it. I got my people in Australia down there. There's some really good people playing in there. Um, and then there's these smaller bands that like you really have to dive in to find them. They speaking in every language on earth. So like more reasons for me to learn more languages. I just think it's such a cool thing, and more reasons for us to like, drop the borders for music. Just get us all together.
Alright, so one final question for you. The band Propagandhi put out that song Ska Sucks in 1993. Do you think that's partly the reason why everybody was saying ska sucks for a while?
Probably in one way or another, but they just don't know.
No, they don't know.
No,
And that
they
Ska
don't know.
Sucks song is actually a good ska song if you get to the bridge. It's really good ska music. They
That's
played
really
it pretty
funny.
well.
That's really funny. That's part of why I love the Hub City Stompers is that they will make. Oh, speaking of another band that I love, Hub City Stompers are so funny with that stuff. The lyrics are so funny and so good, and they make fun of all that stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really really great.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was a fun, easy, chilled out chat about ska punk. One of the best styles of
Yeah,
music, really, I think.
yeah, for real.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Hopefully we can stay connected and maybe you could hook me up with Aura. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah?
how he's doing. I know he's practicing right now for maybe another stint with the Slackers, so we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. That's exciting then. Alright.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me a call.
Yeah, no problem. Peace out.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.